Need we say any more? What a rally it has been so far, and we're not done yet. Welcome to stage 3 of the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge. So let's turn our attention now to two wheels, and after 3 competitive stages, it's been Spain's Tosha Sharina taking 2 wins for Honda, and yesterday KTM's Daniel Sanders took the top spot. But today marks the midway point of the rally, and it's the big one, the marathon stage. The riders prepping for a night in the desert, and with time marking complete, they were ready for a full onslaught into the dunes. It's marked as the most physical day for the riders, with non-stop dunes coming at them one after the other. It finds any weakness in man or machine and exploits it. Winner of yesterday's stage and overall rally leader Daniel Sanders was charged with opening the stage today. That privilege brings with it significant navigational challenges though. First into the sand, no lines to follow, everything becomes more difficult. The question that lingered, could Sanders manage the situation? By the end of the stage, the Australian stopped the timing beacon 6th fastest. The KTM working well for him. It was a solid effort, and he remains right in the fight for this race win. It's a proper game of cat and mouse, though, between the 2 major manufacturers this year, and it's fast turning into a Honda versus KTM competition. With Tosha Sharina now, and he was a man on a mission on the Honda. Today, there was simply no holding the Spanish rider back, adding another stage victory to his tally. A spectacular effort, back on top, and he retakes the overall lead of the rally from Sanders by just over 1 minute. But remember, Tosha will now open the stage tomorrow, and once again he will be faced with the most complex navigational task. Will it put him in prime position for the final day though? Next in came Luciano Benavides. The Argentinian has been playing a clever game strategy-wise to avoid opening the stages, but he's been going fast enough to keep himself right in the fight for the overall win here in Abu Dhabi. 2nd fastest today and 3rd overall on his KTM factory machine. America's Ricky Brabec is another man who's been playing a clever game. Despite not taking any stage wins, he has been nibbling at the heels of the fastest all week. His goal, just to keep himself in contention and think about road position. Today, he went 3rd quickest in difficult conditions, but remains 4th overall, just a few minutes off the lead. And then there's France's Adrian van Beveren, another man on a Honda factory machine riding alone all day. AVB ended up over 3 minutes off the pace of his teammate and stage winner Tosha Sharina. The 2023 Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge winner needs to find something over the final 2 stages if he's to repeat that feat. Skylar Howes has had a quiet Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge so far. The Californian has kept himself out of trouble and has been there or thereabouts pace-wise. 5th fastest today, but remains 7th overall, and he would have been hoping for better. Confirmation of Sharina's win today then, over 2 minutes clear of Benavides, with Brabec just 15 seconds further back. And it's raging in the fight for the overall win. The top 4 separated by just 2 minutes and 47 seconds, with 2 stages still to go. Game on. Over to the Rally 2 class now, and a massive entry list made up of over 40 riders was always guaranteed to give us plenty of action. From the amateur riders through to those knocking on the door of the big manufacturers. And this man is one of those. Michael Doherty has been untouchable so far this year. The South African speed unrivaled in the sand in Rally 2, and so far he's taken a clean sweep of stage wins here in Abu Dhabi. And he added another today, despite an issue with his road book. Proving his pace on the fast stuff, and today in the busy desert dunes, Doherty 4.5 minutes faster than his nearest rival. And that, once again, was this man, Konrad Dabrowski. Son of Polish motorsport star Marek, Konrad was always destined to be in the sport. But at such a young age, he's proved himself to have a bright future. The 23-year-old making a name for himself as a man to watch, second fastest today. And we can't forget young Austrian rider Tobias Ebster. Hit with that 15-minute time penalty after a forced engine change early on in the race means he was looking to make inroads today and grab some of that time back. Third fastest, and it was enough to retake a podium position overall. What a day in the dunes. Doherty then as good as 4.5 minutes clear of Dabrowski in the stage, with Ebster confirmed in third. A good day for Martin Ventura, fourth fastest. While the battle is raging in Rally GP, in Rally 2, it's starting to look like a foregone conclusion for Doherty, now over 20 minutes clear at the top. Yesterday's stage turned the quad category on its head when Abdulaziz Ali stopped with electrical problems. But the local star was back out today and throwing everything and more at the desert. While the dream of an overall win is now vapor, this man doesn't give up. And today he won the stage by over 11 minutes. However, the fight for the overall win coming into today was between Marek Lodge and Antanas Kanopkinas. Lodge was the quicker of the two. He now takes the overall lead by 9 minutes and 19 seconds. Confirmation of Ali's win today. Stage wins is about all he can really aim for now as consolation for his Stage 2 disaster. But in the fight for the overall victory, Marek Lodge leads Kanopkinas with 2 long stages still to run here in Abu Dhabi. The quad category remains wide open.
Well, Yazid's target seems pretty out of reach at the moment, as he and Timo Gottschalk haven't had the best start to the rally at all. For the first time, the Ultimates had the same challenge as everyone else today on the first part of a 2-day marathon stage. Previously, only FIM competitors had to spend the night in a temporary camp, this year at Al Ghua near the Omani border, officially the darkest place in the entire country.
No assistant.
I'm going to see you working
If you have a
tonight.
problem, this will be very difficult. But okay, it's 2 days now. We'll see.
What do you think, Yazid?
To keep the car one piece, not in the drop. Every year somebody in the hospital. I hope this year nobody.
There was plenty for the drivers to consider this morning, and Seth Quintero, who was just off the virtual podium as things were, understood the importance of these 2 days.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit different of a pace today for sure. Today will be more of a survival day, and we know this area pretty well. We raced it for quite a few years, and this is where all the big drops are, so just kind of watch out for that and bring the car back in one piece so we don't have too much work tonight. Yeah, I think the hardest part today will be just the blind drops for most of the day. We're going in the wrong direction of the dunes today. which is always pretty dangerous here because the drop's pretty big, and we're starting at 10:20, so it's not the best slide out to see these things. It's gonna get worse and worse as the day goes on, but yeah, we'll figure it out as we go.
After 3 days, Sébastien Loeb and Fabien Lurquin led the overall standings with a 41-second advantage over Lucas Moraes and Armand Monleon. Reigning champion Nasser Al-Attiyah was a further 3 minutes and 11 seconds behind, and it was one victory apiece before the marathon began. Some early morning news. Ford M Sport are down to one car. Matthias Ekstrom withdrew from the rally for medical reasons. That means that Mitch Guthrie is now the lone Raptor flying in the empty quarter. Usually that wouldn't be such an issue, but he'll have no help at the marathon bivouac this evening and will have to fend for himself in the specials. The American started the marathon like a rocket, speeding into fourth quickest in the early stages. According to their positions in the standings, Moraes set off ahead of Al-Attiyah this morning. But early in the special, Nasser caught and passed Lucas, taking them to the exact same overall time. The Brazilian pushed back, but Al-Attiyah was full gas once he found his rhythm. The Qatari loves the dunes and had put a minute into everyone else by 50 kilometres. While the four-time winner forged ahead, there was a right ding-dong going on behind him. Rally leader Seb Loeb was making the tracks at the front, of course, and he carved through the sand expertly. Remember, Loeb is looking for a 10th world title, having won 9 in WRC, but it's the Rally Raid honours that he covets now. Also in the battle behind, Juan Cruz Jacopini, Seth Quintero and João Ferreira were also fighting with Loeb. They switched positions throughout the day. Jacopini couldn't maintain his pace though, entering the marathon bivouac just outside the top 10, as Ferreira narrowly missed out on the day's podium by 29 seconds. And as for Quintero, more on him later. Meanwhile, youngster Eric Gottschall was going pretty well too. He was 7th this morning, and the Pole would love to crack the top 5. It was heading that way as the stage continued. He conceded less than a minute to the stage leader Al-Attiyah. He ended up 5th, just ahead of his Toyota Overdrive teammate, who is of course Yazeed Al-Raji. He's certainly sticking to what we heard him say a few minutes ago, that he isn't here to win the race. Another 8 minutes lost to his longtime rival Al-Attiyah. 7th today puts him 8th overall, 15 minutes off the pace. And so to the top 3. Lucas Moraes, previous rally leader, made it 4 podiums out of 4. He did make a mistake very early on, but the Brazilian held on to 2nd in the general standings. But only after Frenchman Sébastien Loeb had been penalised 2 minutes for speeding. Zut alors, Seb, tu fais quoi là? In 2nd, and just 1 single second quicker than Moraes on the day, Seth Quintero had his best result of the rally thus far. He stays 4th overall. And that of course means that the win went, yet again, to Nasser. A 2nd triumph of the week. And the man who first raced here in the early 90s is back in the overall lead. The margin of victory in the end was 3 minutes 59 seconds to Quintero, and then that solitary second between the American and Moraes. Ferreira and Goshkal complete the top 5. Nasser is back on top, and Loeb's penalty mean that he slips to 3rd behind Lucas. It's still Quintero and Ferreira in 4th and 5th.
As the crews in the Challenger class arrived down at the start line for the marathon stage, all eyes were focused on the weather. With the wind picking up, how long would today's stage last? For current class leader and yesterday's stage winner Yasser Saydan, today would prove to be one to forget. Up until this morning, the Saudi Arabian has been on top form, but he was stopped with a technical issue for over half an hour. And sadly, when the competition is this stiff, the damage was done and the lead long gone. It wasn't long after that the weather really closed in and forced the organisers to bring proceedings to a halt. But all the top drivers made it to at least kilometre 151, and for Marcus Baumgart, his effort had been stellar, on course for a top 5 time in his New York taxi-style Taurus T3. Next up came Pau Navarro, again in a BBR-run Taurus. The Spanish driver in a battle with Baumgart in the fight for 3rd overall, but today he was right on it. By kilometre 151, he was out front and setting the pace. A stage win looked assured. Nicolas Cavigliaso was the only man seemingly able to keep Navarro honest, and after a difficult rally so far, the Argentinian showed his potential today. When the stage was stopped, he was only 30 seconds adrift. Meanwhile, with Yasser Saydan in trouble, Dania Akil seized her opportunity and got the hammer down. The Saudi Arabian driving smart, and today could prove critical in her bid to take her first major international win. After some complicated maths, Navarro confirmed a stage winner ahead of Cavigliaso, with Baumgart given 3rd place ahead of Akil in the stage. Which means Dania Akil now leads the Challenger class overall by 4.5 minutes from Navarro, with Baumgart rounding out the top 3.
Over the past 2 days, the SSVs have demonstrated just how challenging it is to stay on track and on 4 wheels in the desert dunes. Mansour Bilhile and Khalid Al-Kendi did get back on track after that tumble, but finding the right track and navigating through the GPS waypoints is also extremely testing, as Sheikh Khalid Al-Qasimi found today. There are also the additional difficulties of camel grass, and even camels themselves, who have been known to impede competitors. And all that is before we even mention the weather, which, as you've already heard, was absolutely dreadful on the first part of the marathon stage. So bad, in fact, that as with the rest of the cars, the SSVs were brought to a halt after 151 kilometres due to howling winds, making it unsafe to continue. The category has been dominated by the runaway leader, Jeremiah Gonzalez Ferrioli, and the Argentinian came into stage with a half-hour overall lead. Midway through this morning, though, a new name appeared towards the top of the leaderboard, Hedda Hossas from Norway. She was 3rd fastest, ahead of Enrico Gaspari in 4th. 14 minutes quicker than them at the same point, Alexandra Pinto and Bernardo Oliveira, like Hossas in a Can-Am Maverick XRS. Pinto, leading the World Championship coming into the Desert Challenge, has so far posted a 9th and 2 second lasts. He'll be especially disappointed. His good day was cut short. But no prizes for guessing that Ferrioli and Cesena were out in front for a 4th straight day. The Argentinian duo are driving in the newer Maverick R, which has already had so much success this year. Their lead was slight, 43 seconds, but it was looking ominous for their rivals with 86 kilometres still remaining when the stage was stopped. Victory was given to Ferrioli after some complicated calculations in accordance with FIA regulations. The victory in the end was given by 1 minute and 4 seconds. With Gaspari and reigning champion Bill Hilly way back, he now leads overall by nearly an hour. The marathon stage. 2 special days, so tomorrow is day 2 of the special. And while they sleep in tents, several classes are still pretty tense. The competitors are camped in one of the best places on Earth to see the Milky Way, but unfortunately for them, today's storm has made the sky way milky. But that's quite enough of that. Join me again for the pick of the action from Abu Dhabi. Catch you tomorrow, rally fans.